Hello hockey fans and welcome back to another video. As the opening month of the new year comes to an end, many of Europe's domestic hockey leagues are well into or close to completing their respective 2021 seasons. Though this news is far from unusual given that winter is now in full swing, during the latter months of 2020, a number of countries across the continent were forced to delay or postpone their season debuts due to the unique situation brought about by the current global pandemic. One league that had to wait even longer than most, though, was the Deutsche Eishockey Liga. With their talent level, income and infrastructure sitting a step below the other top leagues in Europe, the DEL had a much tougher time getting started. But after dropping the puck on December 17, 2020, Germany have caught up to the rest of the continent as their premier hockey league has finally gotten underway. Given that it's been up and running for the last 6 weeks now, and considering I have already looked at the former NHLers playing in a number of other European leagues this season, I figured it was a no-brainer to explore the numerous NHL alumni who are currently plying their trade in Germany. So in today's video, allow me to take you through my list of 10 former NHLers playing in the DEL this season. Before we begin, this video is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped is the #1 provider of men's below-the-belt grooming, trusted by over 2 million customers worldwide thanks to their precision-engineered tools that help you take care of what's down there. Let's be honest here lads, looking after your crown jewels is a pretty risky affair. But with Manscaped's new and improved Lawn Mower 3.0, you can rest easy knowing that your balls are in the best of hands. With a cutting-edge ceramic blade, 90-minute battery life, waterproof technology and even an LED light, you never have to worry whether the lawnmower is up to the task. So all you have to do is focus on getting your junk exactly how you or your partner likes it. The folks at Manscaped recently sent me their Perfect Package 3.0 kit, and I've been very impressed with the number of high-quality products it provides. I've had this set for the last few weeks now, and I must say that I absolutely adore their ball deodorant. It has a gorgeous lavender smell to it, and if you use it after you shower, it leaves you feeling good and smelling great for the rest of the day. So if you want to get yourself some high-quality male grooming products, help support the channel a little bit further, and shave 20% off your order plus free shipping, head on over to manscaped.com and use the promo code ODDMANRUSH. That's manscaped.com and promo code ODDMANRUSH for 20% off your order plus free shipping. Manscaped, your balls will thank you. But anyway, back to the video. Kicking things off at number 10, we have Zack Sill. The only player on this list to have suited up in less than 100 NHL games, Zack Sill may not have been the most productive player in the bigs, but he sure knew how to throw a punch. An undrafted forward in each of his years of eligibility, Sill would sign as a free agent with the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2009, thanks to a pair of productive seasons with the QMJHL's Moncton Wildcats. After half a decade refining his game in the minors, the Canadian would make his NHL debut with Pittsburgh in 2013 and go on to play parts of 3 seasons in the league, split between the Penguins, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Washington Capitals, scoring 2 goals and 5 points in 93 NHL games. Nothing to write home about, of course, but he was also able to rack up 98 penalty minutes during that span, so he certainly wasn't afraid to drop the gloves when his team needed him to. Following a 10-game stint with the Capitals during the 15-16 season, Sill would spend the rest of that year, as well as the next 2 seasons, with Washington's minor league affiliate in Hershey, before moving overseas to Europe for the 18-19 season in order to join the Czech League's HC Sparta Prague. After a lone year with the team, the undrafted forward would make the move to Germany for the 2019-20 season, where he joined the DEL's Cologne Sharks. Sill continues to play for Cologne during the current 2021 season, and though he has started the year off slow with just a single point in his first 9 games of the year, his 26-point campaign during his debut year in the league shows that he has been able to embrace a new, unconventional role across the pond, and he can be quite the productive player once he gets going. Even if he stays quiet on the scoreboard though, having already racked up 16 penalty minutes this year, he still knows how to put his fists to good use, folks. Next up at number 9, we have Zach Boychuk. More famously known for his use of Twitter than his actual hockey career nowadays, Zack Boychuk may have become a meme to most fans, but he still had a pretty successful pro career. especially across the pond. The 14th overall draft pick by Carolina in 2008, Boychuk suited up in 127 NHL games, split over 7 seasons between the Hurricanes, the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Nashville Predators, where he scored 12 goals and 30 points in the process. After a 31-game stint with Carolina during the 14-15 season, the Canadian forward spent the following year in the minors before heading overseas in order to join the KHL for the 16-17 season. After playing for 3 different teams in the league over the next 2.5 years of his career, Boychuk would take his talents to the Swiss National League during the latter half of the 18-19 season and would continue to play in Switzerland until the conclusion of the following year. This season though, Boychuk has decided to join the DEL, having recently signed with the Berlin Ice Bears on January 20th, 2021. Though this move was announced roughly a week ago, the former first-round pick has yet to take to the ice in his first game with the team, likely due to a mandatory quarantine upon his arrival into the country. Having scored at almost a point-per-game pace the year prior, and with the DEL season still in its early stages, it's possible that Boychuk could put up similar numbers during his upcoming stint in Germany, which would easily earn him another contract in the league, or perhaps see him join one of Europe's top leagues for the coming year. As long as he's more focused on playing hockey than following and unfollowing every single fan under the sun, he should be just fine. Moving on to number 8, we have Zack Redmond. The first American-born player to be featured on this list, Zack Redmond is also the 3rd consecutive entry to have the first name of Zack. Purely coincidence, I promise. A 7th-round pick during the 2008 draft, Redmond would take to the ice in parts of 6 NHL seasons, split between 4 different teams, potting 9 goals and 38 points in 133 games for his efforts. After a 3-game stint with the Buffalo Sabres during the 17-18 season, the American defenseman would spend the rest of that year, as well as the following 2 seasons, with Buffalo's AHL affiliate, the Rochester Americans. While he was there, Redmond was named a first-team All-Star and the league's best defenseman during the 18-19 season, thanks to a 21-goal, 50-point year. With a 30-point performance during the most recent 2019-20 season, and with the AHL only just getting started at the time of this recording, Redmond decided he would get some playing time across the pond by joining Red Bull Munich for the 2021 DEL season. With 13 points in 9 games at the time of this recording, Redmond's debut year overseas has gotten off to a brilliant start. If he decides to stick around for the rest of the season, and if he's able to keep up his current scoring pace, I wouldn't be surprised to see Redmond's name come up in discussions for the DEL's Defenseman of the Year. There's certainly worse ways to make a first impression, folks? At the 7th spot on this list, we have Kyle Kamski. The second of 4 defensemen to be featured in this video, Kyle Kamski isn't the most recognisable name in the year 2021, but that doesn't mean his pro hockey career has been any less impressive. A 7th-round draft pick back in 2005, Kamski suited up in 139 NHL games, split over 6 seasons, between the Colorado Avalanche and the Chicago Blackhawks, where he notched 9 goals and 35 points in the process. After a 7-game stint with the Blackhawks during the 14-15 season, the Canadian defenseman would spend another year in the AHL, move to Sweden for his 2nd trip to the SHL for the 16-17 season, didn't play at all during the 17-18 season, before returning to North America for the 18-19 season. From there, Kamski would spend the next 2 years split between the AHL and the ECHL, before heading back across the pond for a 3rd time in order to join DEL side Dusseldorf EG for the 2021 season. Having scored 2 points in his first 8 games of the year, the 34-year-old has got himself on the board, but he's producing at a much slower pace than years past, likely due to him still adjusting to his new surroundings. That said, there's still plenty of hockey left to play before the year is up, so he still has time to get comfortable, kick his play up a notch, and return to the point-every-2-game pace of seasons past. Will he be able to do so? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Next up at number 6, we have Keith Aulie. The final entry on this list to have played in less than 200 NHL games, Keith Aulie seems to have made the DEL his home away from home for the last few years now. A 4th round draft pick back in 2007, Aulie spent parts of 5 seasons in the NHL, split between the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Edmonton Oilers, scoring 4 goals and 14 points in 167 games for his efforts. After a half-season stint with the Oilers during the 14-15 season, the Canadian defenseman would spend the rest of that year in the minors, take a brief trip to the Finnish Liga during the following season, before returning to the AHL for good for the next 2 years. Having begun the 17-18 season with the Chicago Wolves, Aulie decided that he wanted to move overseas once more, this time in order to join DEL side Red Bull Munich. Aulie must have really enjoyed his brief trip to Germany that year, as he has suited up exclusively for Munich ever since. Not only has he scored 22 points in 118 DEL games and racked up 207 penalty minutes to his name, the defenseman has also got his hands on a trophy too, as he helped Munich clinch the 2018 DEL Championship. In fact, Aulie continues to play for Munich to this very day, and with 3 points in his first 10 games of the season, the 31-year-old is on pace to register similar scoring numbers to his several prior years in the league. Given that he's been playing there for a while now, and he continues to produce at a similar level year in year out, I wouldn't be surprised to see Aulie stick around for the foreseeable future, especially if he can help the team keep winning trophies. Not a bad way to spend the latter years of your career, that's for sure. Halfway through this list now, at number 5, we have Ben Smith. The first Stanley Cup champion to be featured, Ben Smith is also no rookie to the German league, having utilised his cup-winning experience to make quite a name for himself in the DEL over the last few seasons. A 6th round pick during the 2008 draft, Smith would take to the ice in 237 NHL games, split over 7 seasons with 4 different teams, where he potted 29 goals and 54 points in the process. He also got his name etched onto the Stanley Cup as a member of the Chicago Blackhawks 2013 team, but he only played a single regular season game and a single playoff game for the team that year. Hey, it still counts. After a half-season stint with the Toronto Maple Leafs during the 17-18 season, the American forward would spend the following year as the captain of the AHL's Toronto Marlies, before heading to Europe in order to join Adler Mannheim for the 18-19 season. From there, Smith would spend the next 2 years of his career with the team, where he served as an alternate captain of the roster, scored 80 points in 104 DEL games, and helped Mannheim win the 2019 League Championship too. Though he began the current 2021 season on loan to SHL side Rögle BK, Smith quickly returned to Mannheim for his 3rd year with the team once the DEL season finally got underway. Though he has struggled to score so far this year, with just 2 points in his first 11 games, the 32-year-old has found plenty of other success within the organisation, as he was named captain of Mannheim's roster before the season started. If he's able to get his scoring pace back to the levels of his prior year on the roster, once again become a key point producer for his team, or perhaps help lead Mannheim to another championship, Smith might get to hold on to that C for quite some time. At the 4th spot on this list, we have James Sheppard. The highest selection at the NHL entry draft in this video, James Sheppard becomes the 3rd consecutive player to have spent several years in Germany before the current season got underway. The 9th overall pick by Minnesota in 2006, Sheppard would suit up in parts of 7 seasons in the NHL, split between the Wild, the San Jose Sharks and the New York Rangers, where he scored 23 goals and 68 points in 394 NHL games. Following a 14-game stint with the Rangers during the 14-15 season, the Canadian forward would move overseas and spend the next 2 years in the Swiss National League before signing with the Berlin Ice Bears for the 17-18 season. From there, Sheppard has spent the last 3 years of his career playing exclusively for Berlin, scoring at least 11 goals and 33 points every season, en route to notching 102 points in 149 DEL games during that span. This season though, Sheppard has remained in the DEL, but has taken his talents to a different team in the league, having signed a 2-year deal with the Cologne Sharks earlier this year. With a whopping 10 goals and 17 points in just 9 regular season games at the time of this recording, the 32-year-old is on pace to produce his best season yet, and shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. It's unlikely he'll keep up this scoring pace over the entire season, of course, but if he continues to notch a point or two every game, we might have already found this year's league MVP. Next up at number 3, we have Andrew Desjardins. The other Stanley Cup champion to be featured on this list, Andrew Desjardins was never known for putting up points during his lengthy NHL career, but boy did he earn his place in the bigs. An undrafted player in each of his years of eligibility, Desjardins would earn his first NHL contract with the San Jose Sharks in 2010 after spending several years putting up strong numbers for their AHL affiliate in Worcester. From there, the Canadian forward would go on to play 408 NHL games over 7 seasons split between the Sharks and the Chicago Blackhawks, scoring 23 goals and 41 points for his efforts. Not only that, his 4 points in 21 playoff games in 2015 assisted Chicago in winning their 3rd Stanley Cup championship in 6 years, while also helping the 29-year-old get his name on the trophy for the first and only time of his NHL career. And that's why you never give up on your dreams, kids. Following his final year with the Blackhawks during the 16-17 season, Desjardins would leave North America behind and head straight for Germany, as he signed with DEL side Adler Mannheim for the following season. The Canadian forward would then go on to play the next 3 years of his career solely with Mannheim, where he scored 113 points in 132 DEL games, served as an alternate captain for a season, and won the 2019 League Championship alongside fellow Blackhawks Cup champion Ben Smith. Though he is still contracted to play for Mannheim during the current 2021 season, Desjardins is yet to make his season debut as he is still recovering from an injury. Unfortunately though, this selection may come with a bit of an asterisk, as the 34-year-old is expected to miss the entire season due to his ailments. Given that he is in his mid-30s now, and he will be a free agent at the end of the season, Desjardins' career as a pro hockey player could be in jeopardy. But here's hoping he can recover from his injury, get back onto the ice sooner rather than later, and produce another strong season or two before he decides to call it quits for good. At least then he'll be able to do it on his own terms. Penultimately at number 2, we have Tom Gilbert. The final defenseman to be featured on this list, Tom Gilbert has not only produced a long and successful career in the NHL, but he's also become quite the mainstay in Germany too. A 4th-round draft pick all the way back in 2002, Gilbert took to the ice in parts of 11 NHL seasons, split between 5 different teams, scoring 45 goals and 223 points in 655 games. After an 18-game stint with the Los Angeles Kings during the 16-17 season, the American blue liner would take his talents overseas for the following year in order to join the Nuremberg Ice Tigers of the DEL. Gilbert must have really enjoyed playing for a new team across the pond, as he has suited up with Nuremberg every year since, where he has notched 45 points in 123 DEL games over the last 3 seasons. Gilbert continues to play for Nuremberg to this very day, and with 2 points in his first 7 games of the year, he continues to score at a similar pace compared to his seasons past. Given that he has just turned 38 years old earlier this month, it's likely that Gilbert's playing career will be coming to an end within the next year or two. But considering he spent a decade and a half playing pro hockey and had great success in the best league in the world, if he wants to, perhaps the Ice Tigers will keep him around as a coach when he finally decides to call it quits. Crazier things have happened, you know. And finally, at number 1, we have Derek Roy. The veteran of the most NHL games on this list, and the most productive player in this video by far, Derek Roy takes the top spot, having produced one hell of an NHL career. A 2nd-round draft pick all the way back in 2001, Roy suited up in 738 NHL games over parts of 11 seasons split between half a dozen teams, scoring an impressive 189 goals and 524 points for his efforts. Having split the 14-15 season between the Nashville Predators and the Edmonton Oilers, the Canadian forward would move across the pond for the 15-16 season and embark on quite the trip around Europe. Roy would spend a year in the Swiss League, a season in the KHL and 2 years in the SHL, before setting his sights on Germany as he joined Red Bull Munich for the recent 2019-20 season. Roy continues to find himself in the DEL with Munich for the current 2021 season, and though he is still a member of Red Bull's roster, he's been unable to make his season debut as he's still recovering from a leg injury. Given that he scored 136 points in 195 games since he left North America, and considering he put up 7 points in 10 games during his debut stint with the team, I fully expect Roy to produce at a similar, if not stronger scoring pace once he finally gets healthy and suits up for the team once again. Sure, he may be 37 years old now, but if there's anything Roy has learned to do pretty well during his 18-year pro career, it's score points, and lots of them. And that was my list of 10 former NHLers playing in the DEL this season. What do you guys think about the NHL alumni plying their trade in Germany this year? Were you surprised to see some of the names on this list were still playing hockey, let alone playing in Germany, or did I leave somebody completely obvious off this list? Let me know in the comments below, I would love to hear what you guys think, but thank you very much for watching guys, I hope you have enjoyed. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, or watch some of my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye! A big thank you to Carl Fairbank, Chris Gadsby, Connor B, Drew Fawcett, Jordan Whitehead, Martin Tolness, Roman from London, Tom from Finland, and Worthless Pieces for helping support this video via Patreon. If you too want to help support the channel a little bit further and get a shout out at the end of every future video, make sure you head over to patreon.com/oddmanrush and become a patron today.